Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video we're going to talk about a headline today that the rising scourge of e-waste is a catastrophe for the environment. So this is March 2024 when I'm recording this. This right here, trashed electronic devices growing catastrophe. So this article here, pretty short, basically has everything this one has, and this one has a little more. So yeah, we're just gonna take a look here. Recycling of electronics. uh, I can read enough of whatever language that is. So, okay. So it says here that the world threw away a record amount of smartphones, televisions, and other electrical devices in 2022, warning this avalanche of dumped gadgets was polluting the planet. So what they didn't see that coming. All of these are disposable devices. They all last a couple of years. you know so what did they think was going to happen? Okay. They say that less than 1/4 of the 62 million tons of e-waste produced in 2022 was recycled, resulting in heavy metals, plastics, and toxic chemicals leaked from junk devices. So sure, same thing as a million other processes and devices. But now it's a big catastrophe for the environment, according to Keys Baldy, the lead author of the latest global e-waste monitor. Okay. So it says it poses health risks, particularly in poorer communities where a lot of e-waste is sent from wealthier parts of the globe, just like before when a lot of richer countries used to just export their trash to poorer countries and, made that a business for the poorer countries. You figure out how to get rid of it. Okay. And so now they're doing that with e-waste. But they say, far from worthless junk, the UN estimates the value in the metals and all these discarded gadgets is about $91 billion, but less than 1/3 is recovered. And with the rest lost when e-waste is burned or thrown in landfills or improperly recycled. So I don't know why they're not all recycled, but before that, why aren't these gadgets really made to mostly be reused? Okay, there's got to be a way. When everything is disposable. I mean, my laptops, if it lasts 3 years, if your phone lasts 3.5 years, you're doing really good, and I mean, right, that's all of this waste. It says it even goes down to e-cigarettes is included in part of that. But they say the scourge is only going to worsen as demand for new technologies, including solar panels and electric vehicles, outpaces the ability to recycle. Well, you know what? People might be considering going to solar. I don't think there's a demand for electric vehicles. That might be the UN's dream, because the UN will not allow real solutions. Okay, that might be their dream, but I don't think there is. So, the amount of e-waste generated and collected, Europe is up at top. Oceania, which, if you don't know what Oceania is, it's this area of the world right here. Australia, New Zealand, and Indonesia, Micronesia, Polynesia. So yeah, Tasmania. Okay, so it's all that. That's second. Right there, that's second above the Americas. Now, the U.S. isn't broken out separately here. The U.S. is included in the Americas. So Oceania does more than the America. Maybe, I mean, all these places are very advanced. People think of them as third world, but America's third world collapsing. A lot of these, especially, in the Polynesia, Asian area, they're up and coming. So I guess they have a lot of waste. I mean, Australia and New Zealand, they don't have huge populations. And think about the population of America, the U.S., and then South America. For the Americas is what it says. So, and then Asia. Asia is beneath the Americas, China with all their people, and all of other Asia, which is, they all have these e-gadgets. So, and then Africa is at the bottom. So that's an interesting chart there. Europe, the worst. I wonder what they're gauging everything by, but they say that roughly twice as much e-waste was produced in 2022 compared to 2010, a weight equivalent of 107,000 of the world's largest and heaviest passenger jets. So, but people don't care. Right? It says it includes small everyday items like e-cigarettes, tablets, household appliances like electric toothbrushes and toasters, and larger items like television screens and electric bikes, and scooters. They say that on average, every person generates roughly 17.3 pounds of e-waste a year. Of course, that considers that varies considerably across the globe. But of course, as it says right here, that's already qualified by saying on average. So of course, they already kind of broke it down up here. So they say that consumers can only do so much if government and business does not make these products easier to recycle. Well, you know what? First of all, it should be business, okay? Government should really not have anything to do with it. It should be free market driven business. And who drives that? The consumers. So the consumers can do a lot. And what they're keying in on is making these products easier to recycle, when the actual solution would, of course, be making their lifespans longer. Even though technology, you can't, your computer, like one part of it dies, so it's more financially beneficial to just get rid of it and buy a whole new computer, and it's true. By the time one thing dies, the technology of the other parts is gone, but there's got to be something. You can't use this basic component. There's got to be a way if people put their heads to it. So it's they say that for the consumer, it's very easy to buy something. It's just a few clicks. It's far more difficult to dispose of them. Well, you know what? If you're saying it's very easy to buy something because you just do clicks, well, then disposing of it is equally as easy, because all you do is drop it somewhere and then you never see it again. So, even though I guess if it were properly disposed, it would be more difficult. So, they say, turn the tide. Okay, well, the UN has refused to turn the tide since 93. So, they say left unclaimed are raw materials like gold, copper, iron, and the critical metals like cobalt that are vital for making batteries and having strategic value. But the thing about getting these unclaimed minerals, which includes silver, silver's in all these products, but it's in such small quantities that they say it's just, I don't think it's impossible. It's just financially not viable to go out and try to reclaim it because it's in such small quantities. So they say we are currently really dependent on just a few countries in the world for the production of these critical raw materials. So that also has geopolitical consequences. E-waste recycling rates are highest in developed countries and lowest in Africa, where less than 1% is properly handled. But they also say that a lot of that is treated like it's a secondhand item. So they give it to Africa as a gift, like, here's our used TVs. But the thing is Africa also has the lowest use, okay? Even though, less than 1% is properly handled, you're talking about 1% of the lowest e-waste problem. So, but the United Nations says that every year unmanaged e-waste leads to 45,000 tons of harmful plastics and 58 tons of mercury entering the environment. And most people would go, yeah, okay. Mercury is really dangerous. 58 tons, people are like, oh, that doesn't seem like that much. And the world is so big. So, they say here that a lot of this electronic garbage is generated in wealthy countries, but shipped to poorer ones, disguised as secondhand good that in reality no longer works. But right here's a TV for you. If you get 10 of them, you can make one work, But, so the UN is, raising a voice to this because they say right here the number of photovoltaic cells being retired will quadruple from 600,000 tons in 2022 to 2.4 million tons in 2030. So this e-waste is piling up. It's not a surprise. If they were smart, they would have been planning for this instead of suddenly going, oh, oh my God, what are we going to do with all this? You know what I mean? But the UN, they like to just yap about things and they won't allow solutions for. Now, I'm not saying I have solutions for this because I don't know how you recycle all these things, but if you actually put your mind to things, it could be certainly a lot better than it is. But the UN, wouldn't even have a whole environmental unit really if they had actually allowed real solutions since shortly after November 93. So right now, the way they do things, we all know, like you can't cook. They're going to want to take away your heating. They want to take away your car. How soon before they take away all of your ease and all of your 21st century technical life? Because look, when it's no longer useful, look what happens. They could be playing that tune soon. So stay tuned, people.